I'm gonna give the people a minute to get in and try to get another light in on us. Because the other light continues to. That's not gonna work. This will work. Let's see how that look. Yeah, that'll work. Okay, so I just finished the public service announcement, short and brief. It was a cease and desist for all of the artificial intelligence and false information that's being used to carry on the narrative to be come to an end. It's time for us to get to the part where we can know what's going on behind the scenes and the veils to be lifted. So I'm gonna start. So let's see if this first sister can come on in and ask, how y'all doing? These ascension symptoms been kicking my tail, boy. They've been kicking my ASS from here to Albuquerque. But we here now, so this is the part that we all been waiting on for them to roll out the rollout, to come on with the come on, to put up and shut up, stand up and stand out, or step back and shut up. This is where we at with it. Okay, so try her again. Yeah, a lot of people, especially the ones that's tied to the earth, was experiencing a lot of ascension symptoms. As Atlas shrugs, you seen it was earthquakes around the world, and these earthquakes was the sign of Atlas Shrugged to shake off the parasites. See if the high priestess come in. She had a warning for us today. I don't know what she was warning us about, but I'm gonna see if her is. Yeah,
What's up?
hey, what's going on, Christine? How you doing, sweetie?
All right, man. Godspeed. I was just on live and I seen you and I told my everybody, hey, listen, I see Rod. Let me get off because I know he got something good to talk about too. So I need to get on there.
Yes. So the widow told me, tell him to shut this shit down and open up our shit now.
Let's do that.
So I had to do my public service announcement. I already did that part.
Yeah.
This is the Q&A to follow.
And I am your confirmation, and let's go and let's do this.
Mm-hmm. So the Atlas Shrug, a lot of us been having a lot of stress on our shoulders, and we don't know what it is.
Ascension.
Right. Yeah. And it was before the Atlas Shrug, we all was experiencing that. But when it play out in the physical realm of the earth, it comes out as massive earthquakes.
That's right.
The earthquakes normally have tsunamis and tidal waves, depending on where they at, that follow.
That's right.
If you've been looking, if y'all been watching for the last 24 hours, we've been having the earthquakes, but a lot of us that was experiencing the ascension symptoms, the symptoms are rapidly subsiding. I mean, we feeling like we ready to go. Let's get it. Let's get it.
and listen, I woke up feeling some type of way this morning. I woke up at 4 this morning. I ain't been to sleep yet because I'm like, whatever this is, let's do it. It's cleanup time. Let's do it.
We done cleaning up. Now we done cleaning up. Now what we doing is we build an infrastructure.
That's right.
This is the year to build infrastructure. And the infrastructure has to be in place before next year. Yep. This is the 8th year, and next year is a 9 year.
Yeah, because 2025 is supposed to be a big year.
That's the year for the celebration Mardi Gras coast to coast.
Yep.
Yeah, so Trump already announced that's also the revelation of concealed technologies in healthcare, science, and technology that'll allow us to bring in the golden age,
That's right.
right? So all of that being known already, right? So once we know, now we know what part of the game we in,
That's right.
right? So this is the building of the infrastructure in order to facilitate the national Mardi Gras from coast to coast.
Yeah, we the restorers. It's restoration time.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
we had to go through the redemption process. So a lot
Yeah.
of us don't know what that is, but the redemption process is the chiefs across the land doing their due diligence to put the pressure on the false system until it collapses.
Mm-hmm.
The grand finale of the collapse was January the 6th, 2020, when the shaman usurped the admiralty jurisdiction with the republic jurisdiction that took us from admiralty and maritime law to the law of the land, which took us back to the Constitution. We had to go in reverse now. From the Constitution, it took us at the close of this year, within the last 6 months, to the Iroquois Confederation, which was the usurped Constitution in the first place. And under the Iroquois Constitution, Article 77 gave us the right to serve public notice and eviction to all of the ones who was acting belligerent to the people of the land.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the restoration of the people and the restoring of the great law, and it's the doing away with the way business was being conducted that deprived us of our rightful inheritance to the land and the wealth of the land. See, we're not supposed to get our money from a job. We're
Mm-hmm.
supposed to get our wealth from allowing people to harvest the resources in the mines and the harvest and the crops. And we were supposed to collect the duty on those things.
Mm-hmm.
But because they was operating um, as if we were imbeciles in law and none of us knew what to do, they was able to get away with it for a prolonged period of time. And that was based on the blood conjure and the Civil War conjure of the murder of Crispus Attucks and the writing of the secondary constitution in his blood. That constitution, along with the original flag of the Iroquois Nation, is held in secret in a lockbox in the George Washington Masonic Memorial Museum right outside DC.
Okay. Yeah,
So all of that shit over with now.
that's right. So it's time
So
or it's time to get right,
yeah,
and just, ascend.
yeah.
Just get sending, y'all. So if y'all
So
feeling type of whatever energy, your head hurting, whatever this it's like a pressure type of situation. So if you feeling that, we already know what it is, Brother Rod just giving us the heads up of what we need to be doing moving forward. So yeah.
so whatever we do from this point, it's up to the people to push the closing of the old artificial intelligence by not participating. So basically, all we got to do is sit at home and watch. It's got to
that,
fall. It's
that's right.
over. So the public notice was to put the continuity of government team in Raven Rock on notice of what to proceed with next. We are no longer in continuity status. We in reconstitution status.
Yep.
All of this is in the continuity government documents. It's several different documents under FEMA, and
Mm-hmm.
they have one that's an appendix that tells us that when we get to this part, that the proper authority, meaning the widow and her son, has to issue the order for the continuity government team to start to reconstitute government. That's what the public service announcement was about.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, because what I was gonna tell you about that, it just slipped my mind. It's just that quick. But yeah, it's time. It's been a lot. It's been a long road, and just they gotta just stay focused and don't get led at stray, and get overwhelmed, because there's no need to be getting overwhelmed anymore, because things, it's gonna do what it gotta do,
Yeah, some
and
people not gonna like the process,
hmm
but we can't escape process. You
and
gotta have one foot in front of the other. You can't run a marathon and only take one step.
it got to be done. It has to take place, and that's what I tell my viewers all the time. Some things has to take place. We can't keep, trying to shorten things or falling back or feeling that, no, you have to let some things happen so that whatever needs to be fulfilled can be fulfilled. You got people that just don't like changes, and then you got people that just want things to happen right away. No, this is going to happen at the time that it needs to happen. We cannot you cannot force it, and we cannot rush it, and we cannot slow it down.
Mm-mm.
Whatever the law, whatever, the universe has for this to take place, that's just what is going to take place, so it is what it is.
Yeah, I also was getting messages while I was trying to formulate the public service announcement. I don't even know if I'm happy with how I did it, but it
Mm-hmm.
still had to get done. And it don't got to be perfect. It just got to be certain key points in place. But the Galactic Council have been knocking that the elders is ready to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, they didn't been concealed long enough. The people have been wondering and doing a lot of guesswork, and a lot of us
Mm-hmm.
who's supposed to know what we talking about
Mm-hmm.
been doing a lot of guessing too, because some of this stuff is so confusing
Mm-hmm.
that we haven't been able to really pinpoint what we looking at.
That's right. That's
Mhm.
right. But it's just a matter of common cause. Like, we just have to just sit and just allow, time do what it does. I seen somebody said something. It's just like birth. It's just like that 9-month thing. You gotta just let the course do what it does. So you right about a lot of all of that. You right about everything.
Mm.
So
So these earthquakes is also synonymous with the labor pains of the new earth being
that's
born.
right.
People don't understand, like right now, it's normally bone chilling cold out, but you got places in the north where there's normally no vegetation, sprouting fresh
The
vegetation
new
in the middle of December and the end of December going into January.
the new earth. Yes, yes.
It's the new earth.
Yes, it's the new earth. And then, like I've been telling, this is the predictions that I've told everybody. Y'all gonna see places that have never seen snow before are gonna have snow. And then places where, snow used to be, they're gonna be, reestablished with new things, that they have never seen before. Animals, you're gonna see giants coming from the other side of the wall. They coming. Some of them are coming dead, but some of them will be arriving alive. And then you're gonna have to learn these animals. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of stuff going on with that. But yeah, the pressures of what's happening and with the new earth and all of that, it's gonna cause all of these earthquakes simultaneously all over the place, back to back. I was
But
just
see, a lot of people look at it as gloom and doom, but you got to realize you have Mecca it was a desert, and within 2 days, it went from being a desert to lush green and sprouting springs.
exactly.
Right.
Yep. And,
So all of these is the signs of the times.
mm-hmm.
Ministers say if you know the times and you can read the signs, and you're gonna know the agenda.
Exactly.
The- right. So this is the new Earth agenda now.
Mm-hmm.
We no longer under the old earth. Some of us are still mentally trapped in the three-dimensional paradigm,
Mm-hmm.
but we moving into a fifth-dimensional paradigm, the Aquarian age, and making things known.
Mm-hmm.
So um, shout out to Brother Kalai, because he was on it earlier today, and I was checking him out when he was telling them this ain't business as usual. They see that this is the end of the end, but it ain't the end of the end. It's the beginning of the beginning.
Exactly. I told them that yesterday. I told them, I said, y'all think that there's an end. The end is yet to come, babies. Y'all, right now, we just not putting our foot in the door. We just not started. We
Mm-hmm.
haven't. getting nowhere no time soon. We just started, and a lot of these old heads are dying out. So now they even let him see back in a little years ago, you were not able to go across that wall. Now people are able to get across that wall because it's people who was trying to keep that from happening. They're all dying out, and it's being forgotten in some case. You know what I'm saying? So now you're seeing the vegetations. You're seeing that all this frozen this and no, it's none of that. This is just the new earth, the new whatever it is that we supposed to be experiencing pretty soon here. So but yeah, you seen how Japan got shook.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's just one place. This you got to remember. The whole Ring of Fire has been active for about 30 days now.
yeah.
So
I predicted Florida gonna get a nice little shake too. That's one
yeah,
of my predictions.
well, they had several earthquakes in the northeastern United States where they don't have earthquakes.
That's what I'm saying. Places they ain't snow before, they gonna snow. And places they ain't never had all these different things that we hear in all these other places. You ain't gonna see it. I
Well,
mean, they never.
it, they haven't happened in our time, but there's no place on the planet that the snow haven't touched and that drought haven't touched. It became desert at a different time. But
Mm-hmm.
the time that we in now is everything is moving back to the more tropical nature of the planet, which is its original pristine nature. So we finna get back to that.
Yeah, yep, yeah. A lot of some of them talking about. I hope it don't hit Florida. But see, this is what we're trying to talk about right now. Whatever needs to take place is going to take place whether we want to or not, because this is the restoration. This is the new beginning. This is the new earth. This is mama saying, I'm about to birth this baby, and she got to come on out of there. You feel me? So it is what it is, but that's what we have to deal with, you know.
Yeah.
But brother, your niece and them, you see her back there, and
Hmm.
your other two nieces right there. They in here. I gotta tend to them. They want me to get them in the bath and stuff and get them ready.
Yeah.
You see?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take in another caller. Give him hugs for me.
Much love and gratitude, King, Mr. King. Listen, y'all, the audience, he's a good teacher. If a teacher don't tell you, go do the research. You don't need to be listening to them. This man tell y'all the truth day and night. So make sure y'all take every advice, every whatever you got to take. Take what resonate first off. You feel me? And always, always let the spirit guide you. So y'all take care, and y'all do what y'all do. Love you.
All right. Talk to you later,
All
Christine.
right, bye bye.
Waiting on the next. Here we go. Peace, God.
How you doing?
How you doing? I'm good.
I'm straight. I just had first of all, gratitude for everything. I've been watching your videos for a pretty long time, like on Black Magic and everything. But I had a question, in regards to bringing in New Earth, because I actually just joined the live, and one thing that I realized is that we have the ability to condense the reality that we desire through thought only. You know what I'm saying? Like mind is all. So my thing is with us coming into communities, us coming into becoming one again, into that unity consciousness, it's already done, you know what I'm saying? But how do we accelerate that process in terms of coming together? I know group meditations is good, and workshops, qigong, energy cultivation, you know what I'm saying? Schools like that is the type of thing that I know is in the future. I know it's done. You know how we don't even refer to future because it's all done right now, but how would you say we can condense that reality faster into the 3D? That's what I have to say to you.
Okay. So we're not going back to the 3D,
Mm.
but we're gonna be in fifth dimensional matrix. That what that mean is because it's gonna still look 3D to us.
Mm.
but the energy shift is going to be more concentrated on the love frequency, and the intellectual capacity of the children is what's going to show the difference. Like if you watch now, you got babies doing math at 2 years old, complex math. They don't have that on record before recently, right? You're going to have children 4, 5 years old telling you God is a woman, and how you get this God as a man, I don't understand, right? So when you watch stuff like that, you can see it unfolding, but when you don't know what you're looking at, it look like, dang, man, people going crazy. But they not, they going insane. We was already crazy. We was insane with the artificial narrative that they gave us to chase our tails. But now we go into the green light, to the love frequency, you know, and we got the elders need to be seen so that the people know that they in the hands of the righteous and no longer in the hands of the wicked. So we at the part now where they have to show up and show out. So
what you think?
right now, it's not a whole lot we could do to speed anything up. We just got to know that we following steps in a process,
Okay.
and that changes the whole dynamic. Everything all right, bro? So that changes the whole dynamic and the perception of how we see everything.
That's perfect that you just said that, because that was getting into my other question when you was talking about like following the steps. Like you can't rush it, you can't force it. I believe one of the steps is like connecting with nature on a deep level, because like the way that the ancestors did, where they was connected with nature, they was communicating with trees and like, you know, all types of things like that. And because they was using the organic technology, like I've even seen some of these things where like we had these crazy structures, like, and the trees were massive, and they would grow out of the water on mountains and all types of crazy shit. And it's like they was super connected with nature. So my question to you is does that kind of construct begin with the steps of connecting with nature? And I'm seeing that in India, because they're on pace to plant like 2.5 billion trees by 2030. And you already know that their culture has not been manipulated like how it has in the West. They've been practicing the same form of spirituality for a very long time. So the fact that they're ahead of us in regards to that, you know, I'm just saying in comparison, would you say that's one of the first steps in terms of like how I said, just planting trees, connecting with nature, growing your own food, because the food is the DNA, the food is the body? What would you say
So
to that?
all of those things is part of the process. If you go back to some of my old videos, you hear me talking about building the fruit forest, planting the fruit forest across the land again, having the children to replant the trees. That's what you're talking about in India. They already knew to start 25 years ago. We didn't know to start. We didn't know to organize it. We thought people that hug trees was insane, right? Right now, we looking at the people that hugged the trees in the 80s, and they wasn't crazy at all. They was on to something frequency-wise that many of us was deluded into thinking was an insanity. So you on the right track of perception. You seeing what you need to see.
Yeah, and that's actually, that was a Hopi prophecy that it was like that the children, I think it said the rainbow children plant the will plant the world green or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You got to
that's beautiful.
remember the green. When they talk about turning the world green, they also talking
Heart
about
chakra,
bringing back the love.
exactly. That heart chakra energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I've had visions of that. Like I would see us like in the future, like levitating and all that types of stuff. So here's my other thing. I believe that the human body don't need no food, don't need no water, because you already know that there's yogis who don't even need to breathe. So I know in terms of us going into that 5D, do you think that that's like a type of reality that we can condense into this lifetime? Because like I know that a lot of us is not going to be living 70, 80 years. Like me personally, I'm going to be, I'm not really looking to set a limit on my life. You know what I'm saying? And I
You
believe that that's a
born at a
close.
time when we about to reveal technology, the healing chamber, right? The med bed. Your life gonna be extended to 1,000 years with your prime
Mm,
youth being
that's what I
able
was
to
getting to.
be restored, right? Because the body keep a record of optimum health, and when your health start to deteriorate, the stuff like cancer, that's med bed. Stuff like HIV, med bed, clear all that stuff up in a matter of 72 hours. Where you got severed spines, severed limbs, missing limbs, that's the healing chamber, and it can take up to, you could be in stasis for up to a year, repair the damage. But when you come out, you're gonna look like you've been working out and you was at your peak performance level. So that's why it's good that when as early as possible that you develop your peak performance condition in physical fitness as well as nutritional understanding,
Mm,
because the it's only gonna read your DNA. It's not gonna restore you to my levels. It's gonna restore you to your own levels, and that's what's gonna give you the opportunity to be able to reach up to 1,000 years.
mm,
But some people is lazy slobs, and they don't want to do nothing to optimize their health. So the best they can be is the health condition they was at an adolescent, right?
mm,
But you still have to start training the body as you go along, because physical fitness is going to be a key to maintaining longevity of health,
mm-hmm.
right? As far as for us not eating food, we'll eventually get back to eating what's called the couscous, right? Which only used to be reserved to certain families, but the families that they usurped and overthrew was the ones who didn't agree with the only certain people can have the benefit.
Is that Ormus?
Yeah,
Ormus,
yeah.
and they used to mix that with cannabis, right?
Well, the cannabis was used for spiritual. Your endocannabinoid system is where your spirit body and your physical body link, and you got
Mm,
endocannabinoid receptors all throughout your body. And by the cannabis job is to make the connection between the spirit body and the physical body more pronounced so that you can more readily ascertain spiritual information from a physical matrix.
that's a fact. And actually, I had about 2 years ago, I had visions. I've only had visions while I was awake off the cannabis, and I always I ask people why, because like I wanted to know the science, the spiritual science behind it. Like, why do I have visions where it would either be there was like two where I didn't know if it was the future or the past, and then there was one where I like seen like some crazy stuff that I knew was from like some other time in space. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, because that's what you're saying. It's connected to the spirit body. I didn't even know that. The cannabinoid system links the physical and the spiritual. That's hella interesting.
It's the,
I didn't even know that.
so the research is endocannabinoid system or network.
Mm.
When you do the research, then it's gonna make sense.
And that has to do with the THC, because the CBD
Well,
strains
it's
don't
not
hit
just
you like
the
that.
THC is just it's just the expansive mental component, but your CBDs is equally important,
Mm.
right? That's why it's the whole endocannabinoid system and not just the THC system.
Hmm. Because all the different constituents have their own thing, and
Right.
then when they come
So
together, it has a holistic effect.
yes,
I feel you.
yes, you got it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's powerful, and I'm passionate about that plant. I grow my own. I stopped like going to the store and like buying that garbage, because it really does something to you.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
you could
lot of
feel.
the a lot of the stuff now they spraying chemicals on to attack the ones of us that's in our culture to utilize that to accelerate our spiritual development in the 3D realm.
Yeah, that's a fact. And me personally, I believe I was in one of my visions, I was like a hashashin. I don't know if you're familiar with them, but that's like I don't even have no evidence, but that's just how I feel based on the research that I did. I
You
I
ever
just
hear me talk about the Wind Talker channel?
mm-mm.
The Wind Talker channel is how the Chiefs communicate without the aid of devices. It's like telepathy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there's a frequency that when we ingest the cannabinoids, the THC, the hashish, this frequency is a mind frequency that we all link into. And you just automatically know what to do. And the other chiefs will feed information to support what you're doing to make sure that you do exactly what you're supposed to do on the Wind Talker channel. And they also help you to translate the messages that you get from the animals around you, because certain people have a different totem. If you can tap into the Wind Talker channel, let's say mine is the gorilla and yours is the eagle. Well, the gorilla need to communicate to the eagle. The gorilla can telepathically communicate with the eagle, but it's even faster for me to use the totem influence of you having the eagle totem to telepathically communicate with you in order to get the message throughout the gorilla clan. Because soon as I get it, we all get it. Gorilla Grodd, the telepathic ape.
Mm. And that's what they talk about when somebody's so tapped in, they'll see like the yogis meditating. That's pretty much what you're referring to, just like that other plane.
Well, sometimes when you see the yogis meditating, you are looking at the Akashic records, because we had to knock on this reality for a long time to flip the infinity loop back into a upward spiral of development. That's why it's been so hard for us to break free. And you
Yeah,
seeing the masters,
right?
huh?
The slightly positive adjustment, right? You saying?
Well, we knocking on the reality. That means that every person that's in meditation that you seeing is taking on a different part of reality to explore and to look for the problem, because we didn't know what the problem was, right? It took me a long time to come back because they don't like to see me. They be scared to call me because they call me the destroyer. Because whatever these false information and false guys is, I'm going to bust that shit in the head. So they always call me as a last resort. And then I haven't been here for a long time. And so now that we come back to tell the story, I can tell them what happened because I was there when they blew it was just like CERN. It was a giant portal open. And when they opened it, they blew an atomic bomb between two dimensions, which caused the fourth dimension to collapse into the third. And this is what gave us the infinity loop. This is why we need sleep. When we had no record of people going to sleep before about 250,000 years ago. Now, all of a sudden, you can't function if you don't get you some sleep, because you're living in two worlds at the same time, and you have to give each world attention, right? Right. So in order to push past the fourth dimension into the fifth dimension, you have to unravel that center of the figure eight. And so it'll go from being a figure eight until a cipher, right? That's snapping free the infinity loop. This is what we had to do. And the only way to snap free is at the close of one of the ages. It's called the quantum leap, right? They made a movie called Quantum Leap, or a series where it was about porting into different parts. That's showing you the different masters. Every episode was a different master knocking on a different part of the reality to try to figure it out. When none of them couldn't figure it out, they asked me what happened. I told them they blew that goddamn bomb between them two dimensions. They collapsed on each other, and now they got you living in two dimensions simultaneously, so you can't reach the next one. That was to keep us in what's called perpetual servitude.
So yeah, that's getting into what I was saying before about no sleep, and sleep being like a spell. So can we break that spell by like doing anything?
We in the process of actively breaking it now. We actively breaking the spell now. If you pay attention, when you be sleepy, you don't be as sleepy as you used to be 5 years ago.
Nah.
When you get tired, you don't be as fatigued as you did 10 years ago. It's like it can only, Yeah, and you don't have to sleep as long.
Nope.
All of those are a
Right.
sign of us breaking free.
That's a fact because there would be times where I would go several days without sleep and I wouldn't be tired, and I had people would tell me that my cortisol levels was too high and that it was bad for my body. But at the time I was doing semen retention and major energy cultivation, and that was one of my questions. I was like, if we is doing those types of things where we're circulating the energy and we're performing alchemy on any type of energy, in theory you wouldn't really need to sleep. That but you talking about how it's gonna break automatically. I guess me being real impatient, I wanna force it to happen.
You can't
But we
force it.
can't do that. Okay,
The
perfect.
side effect of forcing is you call what's called a backlash. That make
Mm,
all of the pressure that you push into the front push you back with double the vigor. So you have to learn how to go in steps and take it in stride. I because if you leave it up to me, this shit would have been over with. Because I wanted to hit him with shock and awe 5 years ago, but
mm-hmm.
the masters that are advisors is saying, no, you can't hit them with shock and awe too soon because you'll break their psyche and they won't be able to reconstitute and live in the golden
What's
age.
what's that? Shaka? What is that? What you just said?
I said, break their psyche.
No, no, you said hit them with something. It was
Oh,
Shaka. Or what is that?
shock and awe is immediately lift the veil. Don't fucking gradually lift that motherfucker. Snatch that son bitch
Oh,
off. They was like,
okay.
no,
Yeah.
because you will damage too many people and you will ruin the golden age. It won't be able to serve its true benefit of being a golden age and people being able to live in prosperity because there would be too many psyches that have to be
So
repaired.
that's getting into another question that I had. Is that why a lot of the people are getting on these ships, and a lot of us may not remember it consciously, but subconsciously we remember it, and the program stays there so that when we are there, like consciously, we won't be tripping as much. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Um, you always get what's called a preparation period. So everybody not going on ships.
But
Contrary to
sometimes I
popular,
see people
yeah, but look,
sometimes I see people. So for example, one time I was with a few. It was me and a few of my loved ones. We were on a ship, but it was only two people that was awake. You know what I mean by awake? They had their eyes open, but you could tell they wasn't awake. And the other person, he had sat up. Me and him sat up at the same time, and then the ship like closed on itself. It was like, because I hear people be saying that the ships are living and things like that. Is that like them entities getting us subconsciously ready, or what you could say like our future selves getting us subconsciously ready for that shift?
well, it's more like your subconscious getting your conscious ready.
So that's not like a different higher aspect of ourselves, or the
That,
subconscious is exactly
that
that, you saying?
is your higher self talk to you. That's why the goal is to make your day-to-day mind move from being your conscious to your subconscious, right? And
Yeah, exactly. Because we
once you fully aware from a subconscious, you fully aware from your higher self. That's called first you have to purify your ego.
mhm, yeah, for sure. And because we living in the dark right now,
Yeah.
and it's a
Hey,
lot that we
Nancy,
don't
I'm gonna
know.
take another caller in.
Okay.
I got quite a few people backed up.
Oh, could I ask one more question, and then
Yeah,
I'll be done?
yeah.
It's quick. It's just about the Zeta Grays. Can you just tell me about those? Because sometimes I've seen them, and they give me some. They would give me some type of I don't know. They would just stare at me and like look at me. I just want to know what do you think about them Zeta Grays and their energy?
When they take off their spacesuit, they don't look like that.
So how do they look?
That's the first thing. That's the first thing you got to know is when they take off that space suit, they don't look like that. They look like Sign from Africa, Sign Bushman from Africa. But they skinnier.
Oh,
That's the side
okay,
effect of space travel.
okay. And is the reason why they pop up, or they just or 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 is it just for no reason that they pop up like that?
No, some people have them as tutors.
Tutors.
Some people have them as tutors. They come in and they telepathically communicate information to you. Some people call them angels and think that they angels giving them messages from God, but that's some crazy shit. Cause you don't need no intercessor and you don't need nobody to be a messenger between you and God. Prime source is directly tied to your higher consciousness. So anybody tell you you need God, an intercessor between you and God is trying to exploit you for something. All you got to do is listen long enough and you will know what they're trying to get out of you. If God got a message for you, God gonna give it to you in the form that you understand, and only you understand how God communicate with you. But because they told you that God don't communicate with us without going through somebody else, sometimes God had to use somebody else to talk to you because you don't believe that when God told you it was true.
Mm.
You thought you was hallucinating or some shit. Got it?
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Let me take in another caller now. I don't know how many I'm gonna get in.
All right, much gratitude to you.
All right, nephew.
Peace.
Hey, na na
Fear
na.
the fort, bitch. Fear the fort, bitch. Fear the fort. How are you?
I'm better, a lot better.
Good, good. I know we were all going through ascension issues. I had some upper back pain right here, right behind my throat chakra. And I was like, what the fuck's going on? But I wanted to tell you that there are a lot of people that are going to go through the shit this year psychically because they've been living in a spiritual ego and they haven't learned their lessons. They haven't been doing any shadow work. I had a young man who I just had to pretty much put his ass in fucking jail because he was trying to manipulate me and thought that I didn't know that he was like sending psychic attacks and stuff like that because he was trying to, he was trying to get the yoni energy. So I just wanted to let people know on here, just be mindful of, really guard your thoughts. There are a lot of people who are very skilled in their spiritual practice, but they haven't done a shadow work. So they sitting very arrogantly. They not sitting in the space of the heart. They sitting in their knowledge, and they're gonna try you. So don't be afraid of what their powers are or what their skills are, because that's all that is skill. Because anybody can be skilled hypnotherapist, anybody can be skilled astral projection. But if you haven't done your shadow work, if you haven't sat in your heart space, you're gonna suffer the consequences for that shit this year. Because I don't mess with people, right? We don't mess with folks. We mind our business around here. We don't want to be bothered with the bullshit.
Yeah.
And that dude came after me this week. And my higher self, he was like, your higher self told me to call you. I was like, yeah, she told you to call me so she can set your monkey ass up. He was like, he was going batshit crazy. He was like, your love calls out to me. Your love calls out to me. I was like, Rod, man, that's that mitochondria of fucking these niggas
I
heads
didn't
up.
told these niggas if they don't do their shadow work, you 9-volt niggas, these 250,000 volt sisters gonna short your circuits.
Mm-hmm. He around
I
here
can't.
banging his head
I didn't
like,
already look. I didn't already told them, and they
yeah.
thought I was crazy, and they laughed at me when I was saying that shit 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Cause they don't know that the first inheritors of the earth is the sisters,
Yeah.
and if the sisters don't, if the if you niggas don't understand what's going on, you can really set yourself up to suffer some irreparable spiritual damage
Mm-hmm.
that can have you removed from the realm into the dismal abyss, the abode of darkness.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like opening a Stargate with no address at the end
No
of it,
address.
and just shoot your ass in there. Now you just moving through darkness forever.
Yeah.
So
I had to send his ass down there. I told him, I said, you have disrespected the divine feminine for the last time. And I don't sit on my spiritual soapbox. You know what I'm saying? I really don't. Cause I was like, do you know who the fuck you talking to right now? Like, do
he
you really
didn't know.
know
He thought you was joking.
who you talking to right now? Cause like
He,
you just playing
he
games.
thought you was joking. I know who you is. He thought you was joking though, because it sounded like you cracking the joke to somebody who don't know.
Yeah. I said, I guess you really don't understand, you know, not that I feel like I'm better than anybody, but just on the pure strength of being on a love frequency, y'all, it's really important that you tap into your heart space. Don't underestimate yourself, and don't allow other people to underestimate you either, because a lot of us, we're going to learn so much during this golden age. Don't be fearful about where you are spiritually. You just waking up and stuff like that. Don't feel like you're not in the right place. You're at the right place at the right time now. And a lot of these spiritual guys, they've been walked for a long time. They've been tapped in for a long time. That don't mean nothing, especially if they not sitting in the space of the heart. That's why I love you so much, Rod, because you straight keep it real. You know what I'm saying? You keep people focused on the heart space. Fuck the knowledge if your heart not right.
That actually is a very horrible balance. If you get a whole bunch of knowledge and your heart corrupted, you're going to misuse the knowledge to misappropriate information to people that's going to be exploitive. I don't want shit. That's why it's so easy for me to do right by people, because I don't want shit. I don't want shit.
Yeah.
I just want my sisters to get their shit back, and then I can go on and relax then.
Right.
Other than that, I don't want shit.
That's all we want to do. That's all we want to do is make the world better for our children, for the 7 generations of children that are to come. I do this for my grandchildren. I don't even have my grandchildren yet, but I do this for all the babies. You know what I'm saying? We want the babies to have the best possible life. Why do we go through all of this suffering, right? We went through all of this suffering so our children and our babies can thrive. There's no reason why anybody should be suffering.
If we don't learn from the suffering, we wasted the chapter of misery.
Yeah, we did.
If we learned from the suffering, then the misery has taught us that I don't want none of my children to go through none of this bullshit. Fuck the racism, the sexism, the exploitation, the oppression, the poverty. I don't want my children to go through none of that shit.
No.
So if we don't learn, if we think that it's okay for somebody else to be oppressed, but we be okay, we haven't learned.
Right. We are not free. If one person in this planet is going through and everybody else is doing great, we still not free, because we're not taking care of our brothers. We're not taking care of our sisters. It's all about all of us. It's unification or nothing, right? It's heart-based unification or nothing. And if you don't want somebody to have something good and you want that, you're not going to get it.
That's a
You don't even deserve
contradiction
it.
already, because Elijah Muhammad already told us that if you're going to be your brother's keeper, you got to want for your brother exactly what you want for yourself. And if you don't want for your brother what you want for yourself, you're not worthy to have it.
You sure not.
That's just how it is.
That's how it's going to be. I'm ready. I was watching your video with Black Magic 3. It was a year ago. I think you were talking about Atlantis and Anunnaki, and you were talking about how you wanted to develop the school for the gifted, the X-Men, and I was just watching The Dark Phoenix the other day, and that's just where I want to be as well. I have had visions about me working with the little ones. I was like, fuck y'all grown motherfuckers, give me the babies. I want the young ones.
Half these grown motherfuckers, we can go and put them in a meat grinder and feed them to the earth. I hate to say it, but it's true, because so many of them is just in the way.
They be doing too much.
Yeah.
I was like, give me the children. I want the kids. Give me the babies when they small,
I'm gonna
right?
tell
Because
you the worst of the adults is the motherfuckers that's supposed to be the conscious community.
yeah, they be doing
Them
too
the
much.
worst niggas. Every one of them niggas that's so-called conscious community. That's why I keep telling them I'm not part of your spiritual community. I ain't part of your conscious community. I ain't one of your woke motherfuckers. I ain't none of that
No.
shit. I'm just
Mm-mm.
a old soul came to close the age so that we can open up the new age.
Right.
We didn't close the age. Now it's time to open up the new age. And y'all don't have to see me. I don't have to be here. I'm just here.
You
I'm just
trying to
here.
stay in the cave.
Look, no, I ain't trying to stay in the cave. I'm just saying, the reason I say I don't have to be here is only reason I'm here, the only reason why I'm on this internet campaign for fucking 5 years is my dumb ass was too goddamn dumb to be smart and not learn all the shit I learned that made me qualified to tell the story.
We thank you.
So since I was decided that I just wanted to be a better me and started educating myself and got to a point where nobody else was as educated as me within the community that could tell us what happened. And then when the call came, I'm looking around, talking, what y'all looking at me? Y'all never closed the door on me, talking about I ain't got no alphabets.
Well,
Well, none of
those
these.
who know lead.
Yeah, that's what the obligation is in the tribal order. And
Yeah.
I'm very tribal, very family oriented, very tribal oriented. And my chief say we ain't gang banging, we brain banging.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Larry, man, I want to go beat some niggas ass. I don't want to be on this motherfucker talking about no intellectual ass shit. He's like, no, we ain't gang banging no more. We established the tribes.
Yeah.
That's what the gang banging was always about. The reconstituting of the tribes according to the chiefs. And once you understand who the chiefs is, then you know who their tribe is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna rest in peace. No motherfucker that's still walking around on 2 feet. So
Right.
don't even try to get me to convince me to do that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know. But anyway, that was a reply to a comment that just popped up in the screen.
And so the Cal L3, Fear the Fork. I was just driving one day. And I was like, oh shit. It was like Cal L3 and it had the pitchfork. And then I was driving somewhere else and then boom, it was saying Fear the Fork on the Modelo beer. I was like, oh shit. I knew it was like something going down. Something was going down because I had been in the upper realms and the council was sitting around and they were discussing the matters of the earth. And I was like, listen, you want to know how fast the human collective will evolve? You give the people what they need. You take away the fear frequency. You take away the scarcity mindset. Let them know that they have everything possible at their disposal, and you will see a human collective that will freaking shock
That's
the
the death of the
universe.
selfish gene. I did a show on Young Elder about a week ago called The Death of the Selfish Gene.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what you're talking about because them the frequencies that's stopping our development. It's arresting our development. And every time a motherfucker get arrested, they get bopped over the head with a billy club. So we know what's going on when they arrest our development. They club us over the head.
Yeah.
And when they clubbed Hiram over the head, he was totally unconscious until he realized he was unconscious.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then he had to get his throat and his heart back in order.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. But I'm excited. I am. I'm excited about everything because I know things are speeding up, you know, not as like we wish. Because I'm like, let's get this shit on the road. Let's get this thing going.
Yeah.
But it is
Y'all
happening. So, but I didn't want
Young
to
L in the house.
Young Elder
Yeah,
in the
Young
house.
L. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
son. I see you, son.
Hey, look, I love the shit out of Young Elder, boys.
You know,
Especially
he
when
be
it's
on that twisting caps and popping. What are you talking
hey,
about?
you know, the thing was, my father told me he moved us out the South so we wouldn't have the Southern drawl, and that when we speak, it'll make our words, you know, more understandable by the most amount of people. I ain't understand that shit then, but when I be talking to Young Elder, he be reminding me of what my father was telling me about the difference between the communication between the city slickers and the country boy. So they take a country boy out the country, put him in the city, and then he go back and talk to the country boys. They still know what they talking about.
Right.
But when the country
Exactly.
boy come to the city, only the city slicking country boys know what this country boy talking about. Boy, that shit be tickling me so bad. And he got that country draw that they be like, Pops was a bad man.
He be tickling me too. He from the boot.
It's Skype 8 from the North Gate, goddammit. He
You
know what's up.
We from up north and stuff, but I always like the country boys though, because they had that southern hospitality.
I used to be mad growing up. Like, I want to live in the country. I want to live in the country. Then one day I asked my father, why we can't move in the country? Then that's when he started explaining it to me.
Yeah.
Then he started giving me the linguistic differences by example of how the country boy talk versus I never even when I used to go down south when I was little, I never had a communication barrier with nobody in the country. But growing up in the city, it also had no communication barrier with people in the city. And he was like, he was telling me, my father would explain this. He said, that's the reason why I need you to be able to talk to all of the people, not just some of the people.
Just some of them.
And Young Elder bridge, when me and Young Elder talk, we able to bridge the gap between the country boy and the city slicker. It allows people from all walks of life to understand the communication.
Yeah, I love it. And then I love when you be on there with what's his name, Billy Carson.
Oh, that's my man.
Like, it be like the hood nigga is the college boy. I be like, yeah, baby, like Rod Stewart says how it's done. How the niggas in the hood do their shit.
Look, he used to be my big brother in several of my past lives. I always remember following him around, watching him with lab coats and beakers, asking him, what is that? How do that work? What? You know what I mean? I'm serious. I remember that shit like it was yesterday. And then when we got to talk, that same chemistry is still present in this lifetime. And I didn't even meet him until me and him was on Brother Rich's show at the same time. But the chemistry is still present. That brotherhood, the camaraderie is still present.
It's still there.
Yeah. You know, we all got a little brother that get on our nerves. You always want to know what we doing. And I was the one that used to get on Billy Carson's nerves. His name wasn't Billy Carson then, but I used to be the one getting on his nerves, asking him all the goddamn questions. But he was so patient. He's always been stoics like, and I always been curious, asking him, why you doing it that way? What if you do it this way? Then he explained to me why that way don't work versus this way will work. Yeah, and it was like, to see him in this lifetime, it was like when I first seen him, it was like a gasp of breath, because he's not my big brother, and I don't know how to accept this shit. But
I just wanted to say thank you again on behalf of all of the Divine Feminine for you standing up for us, because we got a lot of brothers out here that don't say a shit for us. They speak for themselves. So I want to just say thank you. I want to say we love you. We honor you. We are there for you. Anybody fuck with you, right? They're going to have to go through us. They're going to have to go through us.
And the only reason that's the problem to me, because I was created to defend y'all.
I know, but you know, sometimes these motherfuckers, we like the forces of nature around this bitch. Listen, all we got to do is think a fucking thought, nigga. We ain't got to do shit physical.
Hey, remember Pac say throwing blows at the po-pos, breaking your nails?
I know, putting Vaseline on our skin, right? Putting the do-rag on, like
Let's
real,
get it.
And that's from a mother. That's from a mothering place, right? We'll bring hellfire down on some motherfuckers because we know that you here to support us and stuff like that. You will do everything in your power to make sure that the Divine Feminine is sitting in her rightful place. So we want you to know that we are sending you love and support, and we got your back because we know you have our back.
And it's all gratitude for me.
Yeah.
Gratitude changes everything. I got 14 seconds. It's going to end. I'm going to come back in and do another session, the Q&A, and then I'm going to wrap it up for the night.
All right. Love you.